destroyed everything, everyone, but not me. Fight me now.
This is going to be my first impression for Hellblade. Now, I'm playing it on PC currently, and I have not finished it, but I did get a little time on the game. A few of y'all were asking me about it, so I figured I'd do a first impressions and do like a quick breakdown since I'm not going to be doing a review for the game. I figured this would be enough. So let's get straight into it. First of all, Hellblade is made by a company that I actually appreciate and like. They made a game called Heavenly Sword, which was actually a pretty decent game for the PS3. For those of you who missed that game, if you have PlayStation Now, it is available as a title on PlayStation Now, and I do suggest you play it. Now, this game was hugely rumored and widely believed to be a disappointment for Sony. However, the game actually managed to currently sell from June 17th, last I checked, 1.65 million units. Now, that's not bad, but then that's not good either. Now, of course, you know the company is Ninja Theory, and they're bringing you now Hellblade. Now, for those of you who didn't play Heavenly Sword, there are similarities if you just look at the footage from Heavenly Sword and Hellblade, but that's where the buck stops. Now, this character is set up in a universe where she's a little bit nuts and crazy and you don't know exactly what's going on. But honestly, the game has a very interesting appeal to it. Now, a lot of people looking at this game as something important because it's considered an indie game, even though I consider it more like a AA, which is still indie, but more this company knows what they're doing. They've sold a game that was almost at 2 million copies. Okay, so globally it's at 1.65 million at this current moment in time. Now, Hellblade itself, this is a great game. From what I see, it's doing pretty good. It's retailing at $30, and let's talk about the game itself. First of all, the actual game itself is very unique and interesting. It's a lot of play on your, psychosis, mental health with the character, the action, the narrative. Now, some people go with the impression that this is like a Telltale game. It's very far from that. You have full control of your character. Nothing's going on where you point and click. There are a lot of puzzles in the beginning of the game. I'm currently going through quite a bit of them, and at times they get a little bit annoying, but they're challenging and they're fun. The action in the game is very good. Now, compared to Heavenly Sword, it's not as diverse, but it's still interesting enough. I kind of wish they had more action scenes in it. Now, the permadeath rumor that you hear about in the game, there's people saying it doesn't exist. It actually does exist, but it exists in a way you kind of wouldn't expect. So let me break that down without spoiling it for you. The way it's set up is very interesting. I suggest you play the game. If you plan on playing the game and have it, I'm not going to ruin that for you. But what I will say is this: you pretty much have a certain amount of tries, and after a certain amount of tries throughout the game, you have to start all over. And yes, I do mean start all over. Your game save is deleted, and this is true. So some people saying that wasn't true, they weren't clear on it. The game actually tells you when you're playing it that yes, after a certain amount of deaths, there is a way to tell, of course, how many deaths it will take. I'm not going to spoil that for you, but if you pay attention to the footage in the background, you can probably get an idea, but you won't know unless you play, and I don't want to ruin that for you. So, now, is the game challenging and difficult? Yes, you can die very easily, but you shouldn't. If you're versed in gaming and you're used to playing any kind of third-person action games involving hack and slash, you should be fine. Now, this game does not hold your hand. You have to figure out the controls on your own. Maybe if you put it on easy or something like that, it'll tell you. But I didn't do that. So from what I learned right away, when you jump in, you just kind of have to figure everything out. Graphically, I wasn't too impressed, but the graphics are definitely good. When I put this up all the way to 4K 60, I felt like the PlayStation version was definitely on par with the PC version. Now, the PC version, of course, has better effects, but outside of the better effects, I feel like you can go either way with this title. If you want to get it for a PC or PlayStation, you just go right ahead. But I definitely think this is a game you should check out for many reasons. One of the main reasons being the uniqueness of the game, the experience that it offers, and also the fact that they try to cater towards a lot of different things that gamers should want, like the sound effects. You really should get a good pair of headphones and play this. There's so many things that they did just in the audio department alone in this game that are like triple title quality Hollywood movie budget things. The sound effects are amazing and crazy. They mess with your head, they play with you, and if you're paying enough attention and you got on a good headset, which any stereo headset or above should be fine. Any headset, if you got the headset that came with the PlayStation, the earbud, probably not, but if you have like a pair of golds or something like that, you're good. But what happens is you get clues in the game, and if you're paying attention to the the like clues that they give you, it'll actually help you with the game to make it easier. So things like that, little touches like that to the game are what make it a good experience for anyone who's a gamer who enjoys any kind of third-person game. So pretty much what I'm going to say from my first impression is, if you're a third-person gamer, or like me, I consider myself a third-person action adventure type of guy, any third-person game I'm going to play it, this is one of those experiences for, especially for $30, I feel like you should get. Ninja Theory did a good job here, and they deserve it, and hopefully we can get them back to where they need to be so they can continue to make titles like this. I actually hope and pray that this game does well for them and that people will give it a try. Some people want to fence, me included, from just watching footage, but when you play it for yourself and you sit down by yourself, this is a great single player experience. That's 100% a fact. If you're like in a room with people, or you're live streaming or doing something like that, it may throw you off. But if you sit down by yourself and you just give yourself some time to absorb this and try it out, it's pretty interesting. It's definitely something that I can't say, okay, for the price, there's so many reasons to say get it. So at the end of the day, I really enjoyed the game. I'm gonna continue to enjoy it. I plan on beating this very soon, and this is my first impressions. Of course, if you guys got any questions, ask me in the comment section and I'll get to you and let you know what's going on. If there's anything I missed, just ask me. So is the story great? The story's interesting. I'm not gonna say that it's great, but it's very interesting. It's intriguing, which is what you want in a good story. You want it to be intriguing and compelling, and it will drive you to finish the game. The graphics are definitely top tier. For this to be something that they're considering an indie game, the graphics are competing with many AAA titles. They're not the absolute best graphics, but they're definitely up there. For the PlayStation, this is going to be top tier graphics. You're going to see is like, maybe out of a 10, I would say they're probably around a 7 or 8. They're not the best graphics. They're not like Uncharted, but they're close. Put it like that. They're very close. So this is a game that if people didn't tell you it was an indie game, you would know. So that's why I'm not harping on the whole indie AAA thing, but this is definitely not an indie game feel. This is the type of stuff we need to see. However they got this done and managed to put this out for $30, I'm amazed alone, and I feel like for that alone, you should definitely try this game. So like I said, man, I don't want to make this video too long. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and let me know if you want me to put more of these videos in 4K like this one that you're watching. I'm out of here. Like I said, if you got any questions or any concerns, let me know what you think in the comments. Also, if you play this, let me know what you think in the comments. I'm out of here. And if you're gonna play it, let me know what you think in the comments. Peace.
On the way to being free.